Welcome to the Everything Embodiment podcast, where I will help you find peace, understanding, and love all within your human body, enhancing your mind-body connection through the exploration of vast ideas, concepts, and modalities, discussions all meant to propel you along your own unique spiritual journey. I'm your host, Amber Miller. Welcome back to another week of Everything Embodiment podcast. I'm your host, Amber Miller. If you haven't heard, I have released, I'm so excited to share, Release, Receive. It is my signature program, and it's a transformative program designed to help you unlock the power of your subconscious mind. Through a blend of intuitive techniques, guided meditations, and actionable exercises, this program guides you to identify and release limiting beliefs rooted in childhood or past experiences, heal emotional blocks, and reprogram your mindset for abundance, joy, and clarity. And it helps you to embrace powerful practices such as oneness meditation and energetic cord cutting to create lasting change. Empower yourself to release what no longer serves you and open the door to receiving everything you desire. Your journey to freedom and alignment begins here. And if you're just getting started on this kind of self-healing work, inner child work, and it's really overwhelming, book a session. Go to my website, everythingembodiment.com, and you'll be able to schedule a session with me. And I typically will use a blend of various healing modalities to help navigate whatever you've got going on. So again, you can find out all that on my website, everythingembodiment.com. Moving on, I'm so excited. We have the first of many interviews of mediums today. And today I'm bringing on my friend Ermi. I met her when I was developing and just was very drawn to her personality, her talent. She's incredible. And she is just a girl's girl. She has shouted me out. She's brought me on her lives. She's amazing. She's built a real empire over on TikTok, but not just TikTok. She's got Instagram and she's got her own Discord actual community. I really don't talk about it much, but my spiritual awakening really started with mediumship. I remember watching this medium do lives on Instagram, and I remember thinking, wow, that's so cool. And, when I was introduced to her on Instagram, I was still an atheist, but she was so convincing because of this evidence she was just nailing. So fast forward about 5 years, here we are today. I met Ermi about a year ago when I was working on developing my mediumship skills. I know you guys are going to love her. I'm so excited and grateful to introduce friend of the podcast, Ermi. Ermi, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ermi is our friend and here today to talk all about mediumship. So diving right in, how did your journey as a medium begin?
Well, there were several points of awakenings that I had. So for mediumship, I would say my me leaving the church or leaving the religion or being pushed out in a way, because I had an awakening while I was in church, learning and understanding what is happening as far as the energies. And, I didn't know anything. I'd never been through anything like that before. And what pushed me in that space was when I divorced my daughter's father. So when I was going through that divorce, it was like I needed to find something. Like, God, where are you? And so I found myself hearing, you need to go to this church. You need to go to this church. I kept hearing it in my head. And I'm like, okay, mind you, I've always been hearing things and I was always responding to what I heard. So I was already connecting the spirit and did not put the two and two together, that was spirit. So when I went to the church, it started to make me see the energies and feel the power in there. It just felt different. And it was not like what I grew up knowing. And so in the midst of that, I would hear the messages and preaching and teachings that you need to just hear God and hear God only and don't listen to man and hear God. So I took that, like I took a hold of that part, like, okay, I'm hearing somebody and that gotta be God. But what else? I'm like, you telling me to listen and this is what you saying from the Bible. Everything else, I mean, I heard in the Bible and I didn't take anything as much as I took. Man will fail you, God will never fail. Listen to God, trust no one but God. Those things resonated with me more than anything I've learned in the church. And so over time, I began to hear that, you're prophetic. You can hear and you see things. And that's exactly what was happening. I was hearing and seeing things, but I didn't have a title or I didn't know what that was called. I was just thinking that everybody had that, you know?
So you mentioned you were hearing things, and you didn't real make the connection with spirit. Were you thinking it was just your intuition, your inner voice, your inner
Yeah.
guidance?
It
So
was just that some
it
people tell
sounds
me,
like your own voice or your
yeah.
own thoughts in your head. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
And
like,
it's interesting. It was brought on by you were going through something rather traumatic. That's how it started for me too. And I had gone to church, but at the time I was a very comfortable atheist, didn't believe in anything. So it's interesting. Our stories are a little bit opposite, but very the same.
similar, yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So that kind of pushed me there. And then that same voice that pushed me into the church told me it was time to get out. So I was
okay.
in there for 3 years and things were happening in the church. Things were like, I would hear, he's about to talk about this. This is the teaching of the day. Or, he's going to walk to the drummer. Or she's walking that way. Or she, like I was literally like 2 seconds or, a few seconds ahead of what the actual action would be. So I
Oh,
would hear this is about to happen and then boom, it happened. So it was like, wait a minute, am I tripping? I'm freaking out here. What is happening? And it was like, it was that energy that now I feel like it was my spirit self, my higher self, and my spirit guides telling me prepare to go, prepare to go. And I just equated it to that's God, that's God, that's God. But I heard the different voices too. It could be it's a thin
were
line.
you ever scared?
At that moment, yeah, because it was just so detailed because I'm hearing she's about to pick up her pen and then she picks up a pen.
Okay.
Or it was so intricate, like it was so detailed, Amber, and it freaked me out. And then one day I remember I went to go and pray. I went to pray for the drummer. She was a pregnant drummer. So she's beating the drums and she's pregnant. And I'm like, and so I felt the urge to go and just pray for her, give her some strength, like speak over her, like you doing it, girl. But oh God, still, she's doing a lot, you know. And then I just felt like an intense energy just take over my body and I fell to the ground. And by that time, I had already started speaking in tongues and doing a lot of things. I'm like, oh my God, they're doing that. I want that too. Oh God, if you're God, I want that too. So I was asking for some of these gifts and a lot of clarity. And more things happened while I was there. But when I went to pray for her, I just felt an intense surge of energy hit me. Like it was like, oh my God. And I fell to the floor and I was just crying. And I was just like, thank you, God. Whatever's happening, I thank you. I thank you. And I heard a voice say, as I call you my prophetess, you will do as I say. And I was like, wait a minute, what? Oh my God. I was saying that I was having those arguments in my head, like, no, I'm not a prophetess. What do you mean? And then from then, I want to say a few weeks, maybe a few months later, I was led to, it's time for you to go. You have to reach more people. You're not going to reach people here. And they're not going to understand you leaving, so
I
um
love that aspect of it too, that we need to experience certain things for our own soul development, the experiences that we're meant to have, just because you discover and utilize mediumship abilities doesn't mean that you don't still have lessons too. And
right.
I just love that part of your lesson is wrapped up in this mediumship journey. I love it. And I love that you have the faith to just go for it. Like I
Yeah.
was in the closet spiritually for years. Like I thought I was losing my mind. I didn't tell anyone. You're the
Mhm.
one that convinced me to even get on TikTok.
I
I was
sure did.
hiding.
I was like, oh my God, Amber, you're so good. You need to get a TikTok like today, right now.
Yes, you are such
Because
a
people need to
girl's
see you.
girl. I love it. You supported me since day one. Thank you, thank you. And I just
Yeah.
love that. I didn't
Sometimes you
know.
can see things in people that people can't see.
Yeah.
I literally can see things. That's how I think spirit uses me to see their future progression, but I can't say anything about it because I
Yeah.
have to get them at least started. And then I watch the journey because that's a connection that me and Spirit has. Spirit's like, you want to trust me? Okay, say this, but don't say that because I need her to still connect with her, walk her walk on her own and trusting Spirit for herself and not me being that voice of connection always. I always tell people, I'm not God. I'm just a guide to you. I'm not going to be your
Yes.
guide. I don't want you to keep coming to me for advice all the time. I need you to hear what Spirit is saying to you. I need you to have your own connection with your spirit.
Oh, I
That's
love
me.
that so much. You are so ethical. I love that. I try to really embody that too. Like I love the idea of helping people through things with mediumship, getting them like back on their feet emotionally and, mental wellness. but then I want to give you the tools to do it too, you know?
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you had to leave your church behind. Would you say that was your biggest challenge with embracing this mediumship?
The leaving of the church was my thing is I'm not afraid to break out of the boundaries. I don't like people to put me in boundaries. I don't like people to put me in boxes. I hate it. I always hated it, Amber. I could not sit in anybody's box. And so I felt like church was another box. It was
Okay.
just somebody else's box, somebody else's views, somebody else's teaching, somebody else's rules. I don't like that. I'm always the rule breaker. Always been. I've always been, Amber. Never, not a day where I'm not breaking somebody's rules. Because why are you making up a rule? This is just to appease you. This is your fear tactic to keep me in a box because you're afraid. I'm not afraid. I'm ready to go see. I'm ready to jump off jump into the pool. I'm ready to do it. There might be some hesitation, but leaving the church kind of really helped me develop a lot. In the church, I developed a lot, but hearing the voice and trusting while I was in the church and then trusting the voice to tell me to get out. Because at
Yeah.
that point I was trusting. I was like, everything you say, God, that's it. It gotta be. I'm hearing you 100%. And then I left. And then I found myself in another space where I was with a few other church members that left a little bit after me because I think a lot of people were having, it was like a reset. A lot of people were having an awakening. And so I found myself in another space with another like type of pastor, doing Bible study. But the way he was teaching was not what my previous pastor was teaching. He was talking about the laws of the universe. And I was like, what is that? What are you talking about? Like, so that was a new introduction I want to say, was just more eggs added to my basket of knowledge because I
Hmm.
didn't know anything about that. I'm like the laws of the universe and the law of attraction and the law. What are you talking about? And then he would make us go and speak in tongues. So I still had some of that churchy stuff, speak in
Yeah.
tongues for hours because you need to pray for people and bless the people. And so in my group, it would be always maybe six of us praying for hours, Amber, for
Wow.
hours. In the closet. I would be in my closet floor. I would tell my kids, don't bother me for the next few hours. And I will be in tongues for hours. And with this group, they will always tell me to go last. Ermi, you go last, because I don't know, it's something different when you go. And I'm like, okay. So I always go last, but it was never just me praying. I'm praying for God. I pray for you, Lord. I thank you. It was never like that. It was, I'm seeing this for you, Amber. The Lord is saying this. We praying for the nations. I'm seeing people that are unalive. Like it was deep. It was never
Okay.
just like surface level. And so I was like, oh my God, why do I pray like that? It's so different. Like I pray so differently. It's just,
I love that you embraced it instead of, hi, I would have hit. Like, I'm the one that was like, what's happening?
yeah. I was like, oh my God, I'm seeing. So I'm having visions. I was already having a lot of open visions, but I was like, okay, Amber, I'm just using this example, Amber, but
Yeah.
Amber, that gift that you got from that person, give it back because the intention that was set for that gift is not a great intention. So that was how I was praying for months like that, like visions.
Wow, your connection was so intense.
Very intense, very intense. And so when my aunt passed away, I want to say she passed after COVID. It wasn't during COVID, but it was after COVID because again, COVID was a major reset for the world. But
Yeah.
when she passed away, I really was on a hunt to find out where she went.
Ah,
So this is literally kind of where my mediumship kind of started. And being in that group and then seeing, and then one of my friends said, you need to meditate. I keep hearing that you should meditate. And I said, well, all we're supposed to do is meditate on God's word day and night. So I was still churchy.
yeah.
But she was like, I don't know. I just keep hearing you need to meditate. And one day I watched a famous pastor do a preaching. I used to watch preaching all the time on YouTube. And when I watch her preach, the next video after that would be a meditation video. And I'm like,
Mm,
this. I was
that
like, oh,
is
right. And I would change it. I was like, oh, what is this? I don't even know what this is. And
your
then,
spirit guide's just shaking their heads.
right.
Like, girl, we're giving it to you.
Like, hello, are you not paying attention? And that was, I think after her, after getting that meditation video, I saw another video right after that. And it was just more and more meditation. And then a medium showed up on my screen. And I was like, what the hell is this? I was like, oh my gosh, she's talking to demons and she's thinking that they're celebrities, or she's talking to demons so I was still in that mindset that, just the lack of knowledge. And so I kept hearing, pay attention, pay attention, Ermi, pay attention. So my spirit guides were starting to tell me, pay attention, pay
Yeah.
attention. I'm like, okay. And I was like, I'm changing this. And I heard screaming like somebody yelled at me, pay attention. I was like, oh, wait, okay, I'm supposed to watch this. Okay, what am I watching here? And it drew me in so deep, Amber. I was like, oh, and I kept hearing, you can do this. You can do that. You can do what she's doing. You
So
can.
this is what you were watching was more classic mediumship where they were bringing through loved ones and delivering messages.
It was more of bringing in celebrities, tapping into
Oh, okay.
celebrities, because it was one of those famous, it was people like that, but not so famous, like Sloan Bella.
Sloan Bella
She's
is what came in my
really famous.
mind.
Yeah, she's famous now, but back then it was like 6, 7 years ago. I was watching her, and she would talk about astrology. I didn't get any of that, but when she started talking about celebrities and the energy of the celebrities, that caught my eye,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And so now I wanted to know what happened to my aunt. Where is she? So I found myself on TikTok and I saw, and it showed up on my For You page, just randomly showed up. I never had that kind of content on my TikTok. And this one lady, I forgot her name, but she was doing mediumship. And I sat and watched, and I said, okay, I want to see you connect for me. And she was saying things about my aunt. And I was like, wait a minute. Wait, my aunt is still here, and I cried and cried because I was like, okay, my aunt is still here. She's still here. And how can I get to her? How can I connect with her? And again, Spirit was like, you can do that. You can connect. Like you can do it. And then I found myself on somebody else's page who was teaching mediumship or teaching you to develop. And then I took that 4 week, 5 week class just to see what it was about and what I would learn. And then after that class, I did like a one-on-one session, how me and you did.
Yeah.
I did it with somebody else, and she told me you don't need to practice with anybody. You don't need to, no, not practice. You don't need to go learn it from anybody else. You need to just practice. And I was like, but I think I need to take another class because I'm just too new at this. And she was like, no, I need you to practice. And then I watched her flow, and I'm like, because I didn't even channel, I didn't even connect.
Yeah.
She just connected, and I was like, oh my God, you're amazing, Amber. I'm talking about like flow for like an hour. I was like, this is, and I'm in tears. I'm like, what's going on? And then I was like, okay, my turn. And I was like, I don't think I know what I'm doing. I can't compare it to what you're doing.
I know those feelings exactly.
Oh my God. And I told her, I'm gonna try, but I don't. She said, you know what? You don't need to practice. I mean, she said, you don't need to make sure you don't purchase another class. You just need to practice. That's it. I was like, you didn't even see me channel. She was like, no, I know you can do it. She said, just practice. I said, well, who are you? Because it was like an angel out of some, like, where did you come from?
Yeah.
And she was like, nobody knows, but I am a mediumship trainer, teacher at one of these schools. She didn't want to tell me the school, but I did look her up. And I was like, oh, and I looked her up on TikTok and I was like, oh, she's a big deal. But for her to tell me not to go and take another class and just practice, that was the best gift I would have got from anybody. That was the best gift because that made me connect with spirit and only spirit.
Oh
And so
my gosh, that's amazing.
it was like, no more boxes, Army. You're not gonna make it in the boxes
Oh,
anymore.
I admire your ability to just go for it. I don't have that.
But I'm also a Leo Sag too, Amber. So my
Let's
my
see. I'm Virgo rising, Cancer sun, and Aquarius moon.
very humanitarian, very the people's person, Amber. You are the people's person.
But my Virgo-ness is perfectionism, and I always could never relate to that because I'm like a lazy perfectionist, I guess. I wouldn't say I'm a perfectionist. And then I realized with doing mediumship, that's where my perfection comes out because I look at the people that you just described, those amazing ones that just go, and I'm like, well, I can't do that. So like I'm not gonna practice, like I'm out.
I'll try. That's my daughter. She's a Virgo rise. She's a Virgo. No, she's a Virgo sun. She's a Virgo
Yeah.
sun. So I get the perfectionist. Like she
Yeah.
has to have everything in order and you can't deviate from the plan. Me, I'm a deviator. I'm like,
I
don't work, so I'm gonna go to try something else.
Yeah, I am learning to embrace the deviator. Again, I would never call myself a perfectionist. It was like kind of annoying. It just kept coming up in like my human design, my astrology, and I'm like, where is this perfectionist they speak of? Like, that's not me. And then I'm like, oh,
You can see it a little bit.
I'm too afraid to like step on my path because I don't picture myself as good enough, but
Oh.
I get it now.
Yeah.
Would you consider yourself psychic? It sounds like
Absolutely.
you are. Do you?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And I've always been psychic
So the
from a,
psychic stuff, it sounds like just from your story, like they're gonna pick up the pen and then they pick up the pen. It sounds like the psychic stuff came in harder, faster, and then the mediumship. Okay.
100%. The psychic, again, I thought everybody does, we all can tap in and use our intuition, but I never thought it was weird. But people made me feel like it was weird because I would say things about them and know things about them. And I'm
So were
like,
you
don't,
like the kid that was saying weird stuff that made the adults pause?
yep. And I would be
Okay.
sent to my room all the time. You need to get out of here. You need to go to the room. You need to be quiet. So yeah. 100%.
So you say anyone can connect with spirit. Can you explain? I have my own thoughts on this, but do you believe everyone can do it? Does everyone have it in there? Is there select chosen ones?
I think everybody can. I really think everybody can. I
Me
never
too.
thought that people couldn't. I think that that's a fear-based
Yeah.
thought. I think that it is fear mongering too, because I know that phrase they say everybody is psychic, but not all psychics are mediums or something like that.
Yeah,
Everybody's a
yeah.
medium, but I'm like, I don't believe that. I don't. Who made that up? Because I
I'm
don't believe
gonna tell you if I can do it, literally anyone can find it in there. I
exactly,
heard it
Amber.
explained to me one time. It's like, you know how some people are just naturally amazing artists? So
Mhm.
like it's like that with mediumship. Some people just like have an easier time with it, but everyone can paint a picture.
Exactly. Thank
So
you. 100%. And that's exactly what I tell my students all the time. And a lot of people that are wanting to connect with me, they're like, well, can I do it? And I'm like, yeah. But I heard that some people can be, mediums. Not all people can be mediums if you're psych. I said, first of all, let's trash all of that ideology. Let's get rid of it.
yes.
Scratch. Start from scratch. If a medium can connect as a psychic, and if a psychic can connect with your energy, somebody that's sitting in front of them, energy, they can connect with as a medium as well. It's all about connecting with the energy. I said, but it's a way to psych you out from connecting with the energies. It's a way to make you be afraid to say, I'm only psychic and I'm not a medium. But you're connecting with my energy.
Yeah.
So if I was not here in this plane, you still can connect with my energy. So again, you are creating a box that somebody created for you and you sat in that box.
That's
So
kind of like I don't know if you're familiar with I was first trained in the Asui Reiki. And then I was later trained in angel Reiki. And then I remember thinking like it's all just intention with energy. Like you don't like if the sacred symbols resonate with you, yeah, use it, but like you
yeah.
don't have to. I think like you said, putting people in boxes, people it's just ego driven, I guess, to me, to it can only be done a certain way. I think it's really cool. We're entering a time where more people are seeing that there's room for everyone. And just be like the Asui Reiki guy, that was all a vision channeled to him. That was for him. That was meant to be put in the world. But there's other ways of doing things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm 100% with you on that. I've already, listen, every day I meet somebody and I have to explain it. When I go live, I explain the same thing. And a lot of people are like, why do you keep saying that? Why you keep bringing it up? I said, because there's at least 50 new people coming to my live. They don't know me. So I have to teach it again. I have to say it again. I have to remind people because spirit is guiding people in my direction.
Yes.
I don't know something, I'm going to guide them to somebody that do know it. But I'm going to say the same thing. I'm going to talk about my story all the time. So people that are coming out of the church spaces or coming out of religion or having their awakening can resonate with my story. And then I can, be a help. But psychics are mediums and not medium. No, I don't believe that. I just think that everybody can do it. And that's not what I teach. I'm
I love
thinking,
that. Love, love, love that. What advice would you give someone who is curious about development, but maybe someone like me who is like super shy and in the closet and doesn't want anyone to know?
yeah,
What?
so I definitely would tell you just develop, continue to develop. But what does spirit say? Me, I'm big on do it scared, but do it anyway. Do
Yeah.
it scared, but do it anyway. That's my mantra. Do it anyway. Who cares? Who cares what people listen, they judge Jesus. They judge Obama. They judge the president to come. People judge, and that's a natural, I want to say defense mechanism, coping mechanism. They do it anyway. It's a part of us. Okay. Some people just don't judge. They even have a new TikTok thing. We listen and we don't judge. Okay, no, you're lying because you're gonna judge anyway. We can't help but judge. You can't be crucified by the words of others. You can't allow that to be a dagger in your heart because I know words do hurt, but you have to set those boundaries so people can't affect you in that way. Because me, for a long time, to come out of the closet, I was nervous about what my mom would think. I didn't care about anybody else. I just wanted to know what my mom would think. Oh my God, my mom is she's gonna hate me, or she's gonna get mad at me. She's gonna probably cut me off, and because I'm doing. But Spirit gave me a way to be able to have her understand what it is. So my clever self, Amber, coming out of a travel assignment, I worked in Virginia for a nursing assignment, and I was getting beat up at work with Spirit. Oh my God, beat up so bad. Every turn, everywhere, I would get electric shock by the door handles.
Mhm.
Um, the alarms would go off, and then I would smell Spirit, and the Spirit was like, "You need to talk to her, talk to her, talk to her." And I'm like, "Oh my!" It was like I felt like I was losing my mind, and the Spirit was like, "Because you need to really step out and develop, like not even just develop, but step out and show you, because right now you're battling this war of, should I tell my mom or should I be seen in this versus doing the work? Because when I do the work, I'm seen and it's working. The connections are happening and everything. So one day I got out of work and I just called my mom and I was like, "Hey mom," and she's like, "Oh, how are you? How's work?" Da, 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 da. And I was like, "So how long did you know?" And she was like, "How long did I know what?" I said, "How long did you know that you were a medium?" I flipped it on her, Amber. I flipped it on her. She was like, "What are
Oh,
you talking about?" Because at that point I already knew everybody know how to connect. That's what I was okay with knowing that. Like I've said, okay, I'm okay with knowing that everybody could connect. Now let me get my mom to understand that I know she knew how to connect and why she didn't help me. So I flipped it on her and said, "Why didn't you tell me you talked to past loved ones?" "What do you mean? Why didn't you tell me you talked to the dead?" I had to go straight to, "Why did you tell me you talked to the dead?" And she was like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Mommy, please." I said, "Ma," because they're here. They're all over me. They're everywhere. I talk to them all. And she was like, I said, "And I need you to help me understand what's going on. Because I remember you told us little stories while you were in Haiti about you seeing energies." And she thought I forgot. That's the thing. She thought I forgot, Amber. But I brought that up and I'm like, "You could see spirits. So tell me about it. Tell me more about it." And then she was like, "Oh," I said, "I just needed you to help me
I
not feel
had
crazy."
chills while you're telling the story.
So I said, "I just needed you to help me. Yeah, I'm your daughter. I'm your baby. You help me in all different ways."
Oh,
And
I just had like really strong vision of like imagery of like literally passing the torch.
hey, like
Oh.
the mantle is here. And her sister, my aunt who passed away, remember I said I missed her so much. She was already doing it, but she was hiding it. And so
Hmm.
she started when I started connecting with
We
her
were
more.
all in the closet about it.
Yep, yep. And she began to come to me and show me more and more and more. So it was her energy that was like, "Okay, talk to your mom. Let her know I'm here." Yeah. And so I did, and my mom's now at the point where she's like, "How's your students? How's everything?"
Yes. Yes, I love
I'm
that. Love it, love it,
here.
love it.
So
That's funny. I would use my daughter is so open. She's such a little medium, but I'm giving her the tools, but I initially I would hide behind her to kind of see how my friends would react. I'd be like, "Oh, my daughter said this and was talking about a family member who's passed away," and just kind of gauge how they would react to see if they believed it or not, to see if it was like safe for me to eventually talk about it.
Mhm.
I was such a chicken about it.
Yeah, right now I don't care. I don't care.
I have finally reached that point. Like, I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm serving a purpose and I'm doing
right.
it with such an intention of helping, healing the world. So,
Yes, Amber, it's bigger than us, and we help.
judge, judge away. I'm going for it.
Yes, yeah.
So I know that you teach, and we'll get into that in a minute because I definitely want our listeners to know how they can get in touch with you. But do you have just a simple exercise or practice that you would recommend someone just to begin strengthening their intuition or connection?
So one thing I do a lot on my lives, and I do it with to help people, and I always want to bring people, even if they're not taking my classes or anything like that. I always have a Uno deck or playing cards. I will tell everybody to take a deep breath. And then I pull up an Uno card and I say, "I want you to intuitively tap into this card. I want you to tell me what's on this card, the color and the number." Take a deep breath before you do it. I want you to quiet your mind before you do it, and then put in the chat. So, and I said, if you put the color or the number, it doesn't matter. Just tell me what you get. And they will put it in there. And I'm like, okay. And the card would be two green. And I'm like, if you got two, good job. If you got green, even better. But if you got two and green, let's go. Now tell me how you got that. How did it come to you? Did you hear the numbers? Did you see the numbers show up in your mind's eye or your imaginary eye? Did you feel like that was the number? Like, how did it come to you? And they were all tell me, I felt it, I heard it. I said, okay, if you heard it, that's your clear audience. That is your, so I was, I'm
That's
always,
incredible. I love that.
I do that a lot. They know I do that a lot. And that's
Yeah.
to just get them jump started on their intuitive abilities.
And
So,
that's really all it takes. I remember at work, so I work in a medical lab in a hospital, and we have this one test that you stand at the analyzer, run the test. It's done in less than a minute, and it's either it gives you a value that's either critical or not. So that's the lactic acid. We're looking if people are
oh
going.
yeah, I used to be a respiratory therapist.
There you
And
go. Okay, so you know.
I
So
know
I
about
would set this machine and be like critical or not critical. And I would imagine like green being not critical, red being critical in my mind and like a sliding scale. And that's
Mhm.
how I would sit and practice.
Oh my
Watch
God.
work.
And I love that because it works. It helps you.
Yes.
I
And
love
it
that.
gets you out of your egoic mind, I guess, because it's just a quick, what's the
Mhm.
first thing you think of? Love it. Can you recommend on your journey or what you would recommend for your students, tools like meditation or journaling that have helped you most? I guess this
Um,
will be unique on the person, but I'm
mhm.
just curious your thoughts.
Yeah, so for me, what helped me in my journey, I was placed in hermit mode for a while.
That I know that well.
Yeah, my first nursing assignment a few years ago, I want to say 3 years ago, I went to Oklahoma City. I've never been to Oklahoma, never even heard of Oklahoma. Well, I've heard of Oklahoma City, but that was my first assignment. And so I'm away from everybody. I'm on the West Coast of Midwest. And isolation was first. And so I can really, and I was like, why am I here by myself? I don't know anybody over here. I don't even know anybody on this side of the country. So it's not easy for me to just have family come by or I can just visit. So, and I heard Spirit say it's because I need you to be in isolation. I need you to be isolated so I can get you to be able to meditate. And so meditating was really a major tool for me to help me quiet my mind. I could say my husband also kind of got me started too, because I would always be in an anxious, I would go into a panic attack or anxiety because I'm thinking I'm going to hell because I didn't join the, because I didn't get to the
So
Bible.
real.
And so I would be in a panic attack all the time with the religious part of it. So when I left, my husband would always be like, babe, and he would put his hand on my chest and he said, I need you to breathe. I need you to breathe. Okay. And follow my breaths. And so he would help me be able to calm down.
I love that.
So he would look a lot, Amber. I was like, oh my God, he's on my baby, baby, baby. Let's count down. Come on, breathe with me. And so that helped me a lot. And then when I was in Oklahoma, I was guided on doing guided meditations. And right now, I've created a lot of meditations for people, for my students. So the spirit got on me about that like 2 years ago. And I'm like, people don't want me to do any guided meditations. People at my job was like, Ermi, your voice is so calming. You should do, and
No,
I
it
would hear
really
it all the
is.
time. Oh my God, Emmer, I would hear it all the time, and I never really put to it, like, I never thought about doing that. And I have memories of when I was working at CVS. I worked at CVS for a month, and I'm done with this. But I remember, you have to be on the mic to call the manager or something like that. And I remember I was like 20, and I called the manager on the mic, and this guy came up to me. He was like, your voice is so captivating. I'm gonna give
Ooh,
you a card because I want you to be able to, I want you to sing and all of that stuff. So that was not my true first memory of somebody saying something about my voice like that. But now I have meditation videos, guided meditations. And I asked Spirit, why do you want me to do that? And Spirit said, because you're now a trusted voice to people.
yeah.
That you have students now, they trust your voice. So your voice is in the back of their head as a voice to push them.
And I've personally found guided meditations to be so helpful, especially in the beginning, because I was the person that would sit down to meditate. I didn't know what I was doing, and most of the time I would fall asleep. So
Mhm. Yeah. Remember
I
for
tried
me, I would be like,
everything. I'm like, what am I even trying to do with this meditating? And
yeah.
I just kept falling asleep. So finally, guided meditations.
Guided meditation helped me big time,
Yeah,
big.
same. Journaling
And
helped me a lot too. Journaling was like therapy for me. I didn't realize I connected early with like automatic writing. When I had my spiritual awakening, it was right after a miscarriage, but then I got pregnant with my son like right away. And I was so scared that channeling would like do something energetically. I didn't know anything. So I was like, I'll auto write instead.
oh,
Like it's not the same thing.
Yeah. No.
So anyway,
That worked out. But meditation for me was big. And what else? Right now, like I don't really meditate as much because I know how to tap into the energy so
yeah.
easily. So it's not a tool to, I know how to quiet my mind. I really know how to just be quiet and tap in and pay attention to what spirit
Oh
is
my
saying.
gosh, something you just said, you know how to connect quickly. I used to have this whole ritual. I would like light different things, different smells, and I'd like meditate for a minute first and do this big visualization. And now it's like a light switch.
Yeah, just turn it on. Turn it on and turn it
It's like
off.
a whole ordeal.
Right. Right, but sometimes I think we need that because we don't know how to quiet our mind still
Yeah,
to create that first connection. So
such a
I
good
definitely
point.
teach about I do teach about that in the beginning because again, people I will hear 50 different things in my head at once and I'm trying to meditate.
Yeah,
I don't know how to make that stop. So meditation helped me make it stop. Meditation, that visualization,
yeah,
visualization helped me a lot. I'm a visual person, so close your eyes, envision yourself walking along a path. Like that helped me. That helped me big
definitely.
time.
I'm sure you have many, given how visible you are and such what scale you're able to reach. Can you share a memorable or meaningful experience that you've had as a medium that has like sticks out with you or has stayed with you?
hmm yeah, I have a lot. I do have a lot because I know I've channeled so many energies, so many people, so many loved ones. One that stuck out the most. Well, it's a lot. Oh my God. Because spirit there's always evolution with me. It's always I'm always evolving with
Yeah,
spirit. Always showing me something else that I can do. And I always tell spirit, push me more, push the envelope. And so I do a lot of mediumship on my live. Uh,
yeah.
a lot. So
Something I noticed just watching your lives or, lives of other mediums is what a gift it is to visually see the people believe
Mhm.
after getting the messages and getting the evidence
Yep.
and just the state of surrender almost and just you can see like the ego part like steps aside and that you just see them believe and having this they're having a moment with this loved one that they didn't think was possible and people like you are doing the work to bridge that gap.
Yes, I love that too.
Oh,
That's my favorite part. But I know one, of course, I channel a lot, but in the beginning of my mediumship with channeling, it was my very first day that I said I'm gonna channel. Um, there was a little girl sitting next to me on the floor in my room while I'm in the class, getting ready to. I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and tap in. It was a little girl with me the whole time, and I'm like, wait, is this is what mediumship is? I have somebody here, you know. And she's like on the floor, sitting with her legs crossed, looking at me, saying, "I'm ready to play now. I'm ready to play now." And I'm like, holy crap, what is happening? What is going on here? And so I'm looking at the Zoom and I'm looking at all the people in there. I'm like, oh my God. So how do we do this? Am I supposed to just say somebody's name or whatever? I kept saying I didn't keep saying, but I said, I have this little girl here and she keeps saying she wants to play and she's saying leukemia, 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 leukemia. And then she kept saying cousin, leukemia, over and over and over. And I'm like, I think she is somebody's cousin and she had leukemia. And immediately somebody was like, that's my cousin. We always play board games and video games together.
oh,
Yeah, I was like,
full chills again.
heck. Yep. So I think children come to me a lot because I am a pediatric ICU nurse. So I saw, I was able to see in my career, when children pass,
Yeah,
I was able to see that and kind of cope with it, but it's not easy to watch a child.
yeah.
But I think spirit has told me it's because you can handle that. You can handle it. You can handle children. So that's why children come to you a lot.
Oh, I'm just getting blasted with the chills over and over again. So I
Yeah.
would definitely agree with everything that you're saying.
Mhm.
As we wrap up the interview here, what is just the most important thing you want listeners to take away from this conversation about mediumship?
The main takeaway I want everyone to take from this is to not be afraid.
Oh,
Right. To not be afraid of it. fear is just false evidence appearing real. It's not true. This is nothing demonic. This is nothing evil. I want you to look for the treasure in the darkness. The hidden things, the true treasures are always hidden. You have to go find it. And if it's in a dark cave and you are so afraid to go there, go in that space with faith. Like, okay, God, you're going to protect me as I walk into this cave of knowledge, of abundance, of freedom. Some people are so afraid that they keep themselves stuck for years,
Yeah.
stagnant for, and it's like, I wish I would have done that 10 years ago when such and such happened. But now it's the time. It's instead of waiting 10 more years, do it now. Do it afraid. Do it anyway. It doesn't matter. Nobody's gonna create a hell to put you in. Okay. There's no heaven or hell for them to put you in. That's something that you deal with your God, your energies, your loved ones, but I want you to always remember that energy continues after the transition. And the energy continues, life continues after the body doesn't. The
Yeah.
flesh doesn't. Life continues. And to connect with those energies, they're not going to tell you anything crazy. Always want to connect with your best and benevolent energies. They're always going to give you advice on what you need for your path, a message to have you remember that they're there, but also to keep going. Your life doesn't stop. Trauma happens, so what are you going to do after the trauma? Are you going to stay stagnant after, because trauma could be a ball and chain in your life. I want it to be a way to discover you. Self-discovery can happen after trauma.
Oh, beautifully put. Ermi, you're doing amazing, amazing things in this world. We need you. We need
Thank you.
more of you. So I'm so grateful that you are teaching. Tell us about anything upcoming that you've got and how we can find you.
You can find me on ermisees.com. I am on all platforms, Ermisees, Ermisees. And I have a class coming up I think I'm going to do it every other month, teaching students to overcome or teaching people to overcome the fear of connecting with energies and spirit. That's the main goal for my classes. So it's not just mediumship, it's just to get you to connect. Have you connect and understand the energies.
I
So
love that.
I have cards. I made some oracle and tarot cards, not mediumship, meditation videos. I even made a video on ego so people can understand ego when they are meditating or can meet their ego self.
Oh, so good. Tell
I
me
have
about the Discord community you've
oh,
created.
I have a Discord. It has almost 1,200 people in that Discord, and it's a safe haven for people to just get started on their spiritual walk. Who's having a spiritual awakening or wondering what that is. It's so many different channels in there. It's an amazing space, a safe space, I will say, for people to just ask questions. A lot of us like-minded people in that space. If I don't know something, somebody knows. Somebody can help you with understanding what a ritual is. Somebody can help you understand what these angel numbers are. We got a lot of inner child channels, inner child healing channels. We have just chakras, anything you could think of, we are talking about it in that space.
I love that, Army. You are
Yeah.
such a light in this world right now. And you are spreading it. I just keep having all this like visual imagery in my inner mind of you like, when you like touch a torch down and it just goes whoosh, and it like
Mhm.
spreads. That's what I see for you right now. So
Thank
keep
you.
doing what you're doing. Stay exactly as you are. You are such a gift, and I am just so impressed. And
Yeah.
I am like lit up by your belief in yourself. And I wrote down, do it anyway. I'm gonna just tell myself that. Like it's such an inspiration to
Yeah.
not be as scared. Like I just love that you just did it.
Yeah.
And
I made an oracle deck, and one of the cards is a picture of me, and at the bottom of it says, "Do it anyway."
oh,
When you shuffle in the cards, it'll come up, Spirit is saying, "Do it anyway." So that's my
all
message.
right. I gotta get these cards. So we're
Yeah.
gonna talk after the show here, but I'm gonna put all your stuff in the show notes. Ermi, thank you so much. It was such a privilege to talk to you today. You are such a light in this world. Friends, if you want to get in touch with Ermi or even find out how you can work with Ermi, I will have all her info in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please rate, review, or share it with a friend. And if you want to work with me, you can find me at everythingembodiment.com. Thanks, guys. We'll see you on the next episode.